What does financial independence mean to you?
You need enough money to enable you to live the life that you want to lead.
What activity you need to do to create that ideal life?
Start with, how much money do I need to live the life that I want to lead?
How do you help them to transition into outsourcing?
We need to increase the price for the customers that we've got so that your growth continues, but you don't burn yourself out.
Welcome, I'm Tracy Irwin and I'm passionate about financial independence and wanted to share stories of inspiring entrepreneurs to prove it's possible for everyone to strive towards financial freedom. Today, I'm talking to Steve Lees, who's probably better known as Frankie Grit, the no bullshit business coach. He lives in rural Scotland with his 6 dogs and helps solo entrepreneurs become professional business people through his Get Shit Done community. So thank you so much for joining me, Steve. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So just whilst we get going, I always ask the same question first. So what does financial independence mean to you?
Okay, well, first of all, good morning, Tracy, and thank you for the invite.
You're very
I love
welcome.
talking about me, so it's great. So, financial independence. So, I'm a great believer in everybody needs to have a destination. Everyone needs to know what their ideal life looks and feels like. And finance is a part of that. It's just about the ability for you to live the life that you want to lead, whatever that might be, which means you don't have to be a millionaire, you don't have to be a billionaire. You need enough money to enable you to live the life that you want to lead. And I think everyone should be striving to live the best life they can. And financial freedom and independence helps them to do that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you said about like knowing what your ideal life looked like. So I'm quite a visual person and quite crafty. And I remember years ago trying to do this exercise back when I owned the accountancy. And I did a vision board of what I wanted my life to look like in 5 years. That's what I wanted. I was like 5 years time. And one of them was not to own TI accountancy anymore. And when I looked at the date in which I'd done it, I'd actually sold it within 18 months. And I think having that thought process of knowing what your ideal life looks like can actually make things like personal manifestation, for instance. It's kind of like things happen without you actually realizing it because you've actually created that in your mind and your subconscious knows.
You're right. I work with solo entrepreneurs. That's my big part of what I do. And for me, the one of the biggest gaps that most of them have got is they've lost sight of why they're doing it and where they want to get to. So I'm not a life coach, because we'll talk about my life if you want to, and you'll realize why I'm not a good life coach. But I start with it's about you as a human being, you as a family. Where do you want to be?
Yes.
In a year's time or 2 years' time, when you're drinking your pina colada or your cup of tea, whatever it might be, and you're sitting there going, do you know what? I think I've made it. I think I am where I want to be. You need to understand what that looks and feels like,
Yes. It's the
because
feeling like, isn't it?
yeah,
Definitely.
and it's about that why then, isn't it? It's about, so if the why is big enough, then no matter what obstacle people put in front of you, and they will, whether you're a business owner or not,
Yeah.
people love putting things in the way. You will find a way of going around it, under it, over it, or knocking the sodding thing down to get to where you want to get to.
Yeah.
That's the starting point. So if in the world of business, actually it starts with you. It doesn't start with your business. You are not your business. You are separate entities. So where do you want to end up? And I think if you get that clarity, a bit like you ended up with your vision board, it's amazing
Mhm.
how all of a sudden your decisions start to take you toward where you want to be rather than just meandering around aimlessly.
Yeah, that's
It's
really
what a lot of
interesting.
business owners do.
Yes. So obviously, living in rural Scotland, that is not a Scottish accent that you have right now. So, like, do you want to tell us a bit about how you got to being Frankie Grit?
Wow. Okay. Yes. How long have we got? So I originate from Cheshire,
Which is where I am now.
which is where you are now, just down the road from where you are now, in
Yeah.
fact. Um, and I lived in the same town, pretty much in the same house for the first 40 odd years of my life. I got married, I had kids. Um, I flunked school completely. I left school with pretty much no qualifications, but a chip the size of a tree on my shoulder, thinking that life, I was owed something.
Okay.
And I drifted until eventually. when the kids came along, you're gonna have to settle down at some point and get a job that means something, which I did. And I was one of those people sat in a call center, just churning it out and working 9 to 5 and not thinking about it. And then I had what I think lots of people have. I have one of those moments where you meet someone and
Yes.
that person sees something in you that you haven't spotted.
Love it.
And the guy's name was John Newell. I can remember, and he changed my life. And he came in as a new manager, and he shook things up, and I didn't think much about it. And he came to me and said, "You need to apply for one of these jobs, Steve." And it was like, "Why?" He said, "Because you're capable." And off I went, and that was my supervisory's journey started, and then on to management and into leadership. And I've had that moment 3 times in my life where I've met someone who's gone, "You're capable of more than this, Steve," and they pushed me into doing something that I was uncomfortable doing.
Nice.
Um, so I became pretty successful. If you go to the corporate greasy pole, I got to the top of the greasy pole, and I've sat around the boardroom table at quite large organisations. I believe it or not, I became a partner at a law firm, even though I'm not legally qualified. Who knew you could do that? Um, and I ended up running and became chief exec of a couple of medium-sized businesses. So I reached the top, if that's the right phrase. Um, uh, and I made truckloads of mistakes
Okay.
along the way. Just catastrophic mistakes, and it still hurts now. We talk about money and financial freedom. One of the businesses I ran went bust. And I can sit here and say, well, it wasn't my fault. It was all to do. We work in the energy business. It was the time that Russia invaded Ukraine. All of our customers went out of business. And hey
Okay.
presto, so did we. But you still carry, as the person sat in the hot seat, you carry some of that around with you.
Of course you do. I
You
totally
know,
get that because at the end of the day, everything is our responsibility, even if it's
it,
not our fault.
it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
I made 140 people redundant 2 weeks after Christmas.
That must
And
have hurt.
it was just, yeah, it was really painful. And it's still painful now. But then you dust yourself back off, and 2 weeks after that, we set a new business up, and we re-employed some of the people that we made redundant, and we went at it again. So there's
Okay.
something in my head about persistence. I'm quite a persistent individual. I don't like failing. I don't like failing. I accept that I fail. It's part of life,
It is.
and you learn loads of stuff
I was
when
going
you
to say,
get
we
things
don't
wrong.
fail, Steve. We learn lessons.
Well, yeah. However you want to describe it. Tommy Fleetwood, very famous golfer, said, "I either win or learn."
Yes.
Brilliant, absolutely
Perfect.
brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's it. So we did that, but then and at this point along this journey, I'm moving further north. Started in Cheshire, moved to Lancashire, moved across the Pennines to follow my heart, where I met my wonderful wife now into Yorkshire. We then moved to Northumberland,
Okay.
and then we ended up in Scotland. But so people say, be mindful of risk and don't take too much risk at the same time. So we moved house. I left my corporate job
Yep.
and moved to a different country where we didn't know anybody all at the same time.
Do you not
I
think
wouldn't,
sometimes like that perfect storm is actually what you see people need sometimes, and everything happens all at the same time?
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you go back to the where we started this conversation of what does your ideal life look like, we found it.
Yeah.
So Kirsty and I and the dogs found it. We wanted to move north. We decided Northumberland. It was getting a bit too touristy for us,
Okay.
and we said we're going to move to Scotland. That was the brief. Now I'm married to an accountant, Tracy, so
I
you
know.
won't be surprised that my life is run around spreadsheets.
The spreadsheets are amazing.
I know. So we had a spreadsheet of everything the house that we needed to buy that was going to be our forever home.
Yep.
There was a spreadsheet for it. And then I was dispatched, and there was lots of checking on Rightmove, and then I was dispatched northwards to Scotland to go and do the initial recce's around all these houses.
Okay.
And we just couldn't find the right one. We sold in Northumberland, so we rented. So we moved to Scotland, but we rented somewhere. Um, and then we were coming to Dumfries and Galloway, this wonderful place that I now live, to see a different house.
Okay.
the one that we actually bought, the one that I'm sat in now, didn't get enough ticks on the spreadsheet.
Right.
But because we were going to to Dumfries and Galloway, we said, well, wow, we might as well make a day of it. So we did, and we came to this one first, and we got to the end of the driveway, and we both looked at each other and said, "This is it." Hadn't even been in the house, and when
Isn't
we
it
went round the
weird?
house, Kirsty didn't even look round all the rooms because we already
She just
knew.
knew. And that for me proves that sometimes things that are written on paper that should be good or shouldn't be good, like you've that feeling it's that it creates, whatever it is, your business, your life, your house, anything could not look perfect on paper, but actually when you actually go to it and feel the emotion that it brings, that's what is it's all about, really.
It just becomes that connection.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this is because what we ended up doing is that we found our ideal life. So we've been married for 10 years plus. Don't know the exact time because I get it wrong. Although I do remember our anniversary and she doesn't. Um,
Kirsty's
um,
gonna hate you for
I
that.
know we might cut that bit out. And we
I'm
just
staying
it stayed in. So we found it.
in.
But this ideal life, all of a sudden we'd found it. Now, Tracy, there was a problem because actually couldn't bloody afford it
Okay,
because it was above what we wanted to spend, but we were just head over heels in it. So it was just like, we'll we'll
find a
make
way.
it work.
Yeah,
We'll make it work. So don't forget, I just left a job that was paying me quite a lot of cash. I'd set my own business up. We bought a house that was too big for us. We took a mortgage on the house that we couldn't afford. It wasn't the best plan,
okay.
but you know what? It just felt right.
Right.
And I've been pretty successful through most of my life. So I thought, well, I'm going to carry on being successful, aren't I? And everything's going to be fine. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. It's been an interesting
You're
2 years.
an entrepreneur.
Been an interesting 2 years.
I think it is, but that mindset, that's what separates business owners, isn't it? It's like we'll find a way, like, or we blame everything else, or there's no, they can't. We need to find solutions to a problem,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just understanding as a business owner that is primarily what we need to do. Become
We
adaptable.
do. And we have to find the right solution for us. And that might look fundamentally different than a right solution for somebody else.
Yeah,
So, I spend a lot of time talking to people who work with me and just other business owners. If you look online, every single business owner is a millionaire. Everyone's business is doing fabulously well. Honestly, it's just brilliant. In reality, less than 20% of businesses are actually performing well.
yes,
Most people are struggling and
just getting
some are
by.
broke
Yeah,
and they just haven't accepted it yet.
yes.
So I think getting clarity on everything is really important. And music to your ears, I'm sure. One of the things that brings that clarity is, for God's sake, know your numbers.
100%. It's the foundation of everything. Like,
It just Yeah, it's just like, I don't mean the numbers you give to your accountant, although it's the numbers that are inside your business that make it move and make it tick. How many of these do you need? How many of those do you need? How much cash have you got? It's not difficult. It's not complicated. You don't have to be a mathematician. You just need to understand the core numbers really well, because when you do, you make better decisions.
yes. And I think you can when you understand your business numbers and you know what activity you need to do to create that ideal life, suddenly everything else just pales into insignificance. It's like, let's concentrate on that. It isn't like I speak to people who are like, well, I'm doing this marketing and that marketing and everything. I'm like, yeah, but do you actually understand what your gross profit margin is? Do you understand like how much of every pound that you bring in needs to go to actually delivering that service? Because, if it's not fundamentally like feasible, then you can't outwork a pricing problem. And people think they can. Like they think I'll just throw some more money at marketing. Small sales will come in. I'll be fine. I'm like, sometimes that's going to make you
It,
just bust quicker.
Exactly, there's you and I come from a similar background because obviously we
We
both
do.
have got connections with the entrepreneur circle. We've both been through Nigel's kind of
We
processes
both
and
look, yeah,
and
we do.
indoctrination.
Speak the
Um,
same language, Steve.
and it, to the point where actually I became a certified coach for entrepreneur
Right.
circle. So it's the core things, isn't it? Where do you start with money? You don't start with what the market thinks it can afford. Because let's go back to it, 80% of the market are doing it wrong because they're
Yes.
not making enough money. So if you follow them, don't be surprised if you don't make enough. Start with how much money do I need to live the life that I want to lead? Okay, now how many customers do I need? Oh, well, that's too many. I can't deal with that. Well, you need a different sort of customer then that's willing to pay more with more
Yeah.
value. You've got to start from the right point and you're building your pricing strategy for you,
Yeah.
not the rest of the market. Actually, not really buying it for sending it for the customers. You've got to find the right customer. What do I need?
Yeah.
You
100%.
know,
It's and so
part of
many people
financial
don't,
freedom.
yeah, financial independence, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like, and it's just so many people do price from what everyone else is pricing. And I mean, I did it yesterday. Somebody was telling me about their prices are like on par with everybody else's. And I'm like, yeah, but what does that make your life look like? And she's like, yeah, but it's the same offer. I'm like, change your offer.
change your
Like,
offer. If you're average, is your service average? Because if your service is average, charge average prices. But I've yet to come across a business owner that says their service is average. They don't last very long, but it is. So if your service is good, charge valuable pricing. I had a conversation with a client yesterday who had just come up with a new pricing list for a new venture, and by the end of the conversation, it had gone up by 40%.
Awesome. Everyone
And
needs
I
Frankie
still
Grit.
think it was too cheap. Just
Oh,
so yeah, so the numbers become really important because it's what drives everything else. Go back to this business being your business and you are separate. Your business is only there and can only deliver two things: time and money.
yeah.
How much time do I need to live my ideal life? How much money do I need? Those are the goals that your business set. It can't do anything else. Might give you some satisfaction if you're doing something you
If you're
like.
helping
Okay,
people.
I'll
Yeah, if
give
you're doing the
people
nice,
that.
right thing.
But in nuts and bolts, it's time and money.
Are you working harder than ever, but feeling like you're getting nowhere? You're not alone. Most business owners I speak to feel trapped in their own success, working 60 hours plus a week, missing family time, and honestly, they're not even sure why they feel so stuck. They just know something needs to change. If this sounds familiar, I've created a quick quiz to help you find out why you feel stuck in your business. It takes only 2 minutes and I give you clarity on exactly what's keeping you trapped and, more importantly, how to break free. The link's in the description, so why not take it now?
But you need to understand what time and money you need so that you can then set appropriate targets for your business. But when those things join together, by God, you can make some progress
Yeah.
because it all starts to make sense.
So the fact you deal with solopreneurs and people in their infancy, I'd say, of like their careers and their businesses. Like, what's the biggest like mistake most people that you see make that people could actually think, oh, I do that and change it?
If only there was one.
Oh, go on then. Have you got a top three?
There's a few. So I think the first one we've talked about, and that is they aren't really clear on where their destination point is.
Yeah.
So I think that's something they need to get to because you need to act like a sat nav, and to be a sat nav, you need to know where you are and where you want to get to, and then it will plot the route for you. I think the second thing is that they actually don't really understand what their product is, and
Okay.
they find it really difficult to describe and articulate to people what it is they actually do. They intrinsically know what they do, but finding the language and the packaging of what their product is, people find quite difficult because
Okay.
they'll go, I paint people's nails just like everybody else.
Right.
Well, then,
Okay.
well, then you'll just be like everybody else. We
Yeah.
have to find the uniqueness of your product and your service and on your business. And do you know what that is? In 100% of occasions,
Go on.
you. It's you. The only unique thing that your business has got is you. can't replicate you. So we have to find, how do we get you inside the way your product is operating? So that's the second thing. Numbers, absolutely. Just I think, but one, if only people understood numbers. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a numbers expert. I'm married to a numbers expert. But if you ask me what my core numbers are,
Yes.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
I know.
And that's the point, isn't it? It's not, the numbers aren't, you don't have to be an accountant to understand the important numbers in your business. Things like how much activity you have to do to be able to get a client. So your rhythmic acquisition of a client, your lifetime value of a client, those type of things are not they are mathematical equations, but they're sensible ones because people see the tangibility of them, and they are so easy. So
Yeah, I know. I'm going to come back to a second on one of the problems, but I know
yep,
I need to put 10 leads, 10 qualified leads in the top of my sales funnel.
yep,
And if I put 10 leads in, I will get 3 prospects.
yep,
And if I get 3 prospects, I'll get 1 client. I
perfect.
know that because that's what happens. And
Okay.
I've built it over time. I've built it, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes it changes. Sometimes I need to put less leads in. But overall, 10, 3, 1. So if
Yeah.
I want a client a week or a client a month, I know how many things I've got to put in the top of the pile. And I also now know the activities that sit underneath it that put those people into the top of the pile.
When I learned this from Nigel Bottrell in the Entrepreneur Circle back in 2010, I had all the data there in my accountancy business. Like I literally, you can imagine, it was like Christmas for me. I went home and I pulled all the data together, and I knew when I needed more clients or less clients, I knew what activity I could turn it up, turn it down. It was brilliant. And then once I sold the business and I became a new business, I suddenly was like, oh shit, I don't have my numbers.
I haven't got any.
I haven't got any numbers to track.
Oh.
And I've been tracking so much in the last 6 months to try and understand. And I'm doing exactly the same thing. I do a money mindset sprint every single month. I know how many people register, how many people turn up, how many people fill out the feedback form, how many people say yes, they'd like accountability. And out of those people who say yes, how many people join the circle. And I am just tracking it and tracking it and tracking it so that I can be confident in another 6 months' time exactly what I need to do to get people into the circle. And I think that's
And yeah, in the world that I operate, majority solo entrepreneurs, they're starting without any of that data. So
exactly. I'm
they have
back
to
there.
start, so we don't know what your conversion rates are going to be. We don't know what activities are going to work. So we just have to start. And then we have to review. And then
Yes.
we have to tweak and go, well, actually, we're doing all these activities, but we're not getting the result we want. Well, so either they're the wrong activities,
Yep.
or we aren't doing enough of them, or we
Yep.
aren't doing it well enough. So
Follow
we
up.
tweak and change. Yeah. Follow up. No one does enough. Oh, God Almighty. There's the other thing. No one follows up anywhere near enough.
As much as they should do, I know.
No. Everybody, me included. And I try
Yeah,
and preach follow up. I
me
don't follow
included,
up as
by the
much
way.
as I
Yeah.
do.
And I do follow up, but I know it's not as often as I should because
Yeah.
I've got other things going on. But yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree.
And
Totally
I
agree.
think that the final jigsaw puzzle for me for particularly early stage entrepreneurs, ones that they're up and running, but they've reached that plateau and gone, I need to become a professional business person, is actually understanding who their clients actually are.
Right. Okay.
That there's still this view of, well, anyone can buy this. Well, that's true. Anyone could buy it, but everyone isn't going to.
Yes.
So again, linking it back to the money, if you need your average client to pay you this amount of money, there is no point marketing to people who can't afford it.
Yeah. 100.
So we have to find the right marketplace that matches the value. And I work for Digital Boost. I think you do a bit of Digital Boost.
I do. I do
Yeah.
webinars and free mentoring for them. Yep.
Yeah. So I had a free mentoring session. This is going back quite some time with a chap, and all he wanted was some help with pricing.
Okay.
That was his point. So okay, tell me what you do. I'm a wedding photographer. Okay, brilliant. Whose weddings do you photograph? What do you mean? I said, well, I can't help you pricing till we understand actually what your ideal customer looks like. And he could not grasp it. So I ended up going, right, okay, so let's imagine you've got 2 people coming to you. You've got Janet and John, who live in the local council estate,
Yep.
who went to school together, and are going to get married in the local registry office, and they're going to the local pub for a buffet lunch. Okay,
Yep.
there's client number 1. Okay.
Yep.
What you're going to do for them is take photographs.
Yes.
Okay. Over here, you've got Katie Price marrying
Yeah.
whoever the next person is that Katie Price is going to marry, and she's flying to Hawaii and Barbados, and there's a 500 people going, and it's a 5-star luxury resort. And you know what you're going to do when you're there? You're going to take photographs. How much are you going to charge for each of them? And all you see the light bulb suddenly come into his
Yeah.
head going, okay, because you're doing the same thing, but they value it differently.
Very much so. Very much so.
Understand your ideal customer helps you to get your pricing model to a level that supports your ideal life. Hey, it's not all these things are linked. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
You know, and none of it is complicated. It's hard. It's hard work. It's not
Yeah.
easy. And I don't care who you are, how long you've been doing for it. You're constantly making mistakes and you've got to make changes. But you don't need to be a brain surgeon unless you
You
actually
are.
want to operate on people's brains. It's
Yeah.
it's just you need to know what to do. So you spend all of your time doing the stuff that you should do. Whereas most business owners spend lots of time doing stuff that's not going to bring any value to them.
Yeah. But lots of business owners go on this like the roller coaster. So like they go networking, they do lots of activity to try and get customers in, and it goes up here and then they get busy.
Yeah.
And then they do the work. They don't do anything, they don't go to networking anymore. And like again, we're probably doing a little thing for Nigel here. But when I first heard Nigel speak, he stood on a stage in 2010 and said to everybody, "What's the first thing you do when you go to work?" And everyone was like, emails, talk to the team, make a brew, that kind of stuff. And he was like, I get clients, I do work to keep and like get and retain clients. And I like, because I actually got in Nigel's book when he talked about it, but I
Yeah.
literally grew my business in 90-minute chunks. It was the best advice I've ever been given. And I still give it to this day. I gave it to somebody yesterday on a digital boost because she was like, oh, I've been really busy because luckily I got some referrals. She said, and now my website and everything isn't ready because to launch because but those clients have gone. And I was like, why weren't you working on your business throughout that busy? I didn't have time. Like you did have time. You
You did.
have to
You just
have
didn't. You didn't
time.
prioritize it. So you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. So almost every conversation I have, certainly with new people, it goes something like this. If you put your client list on a piece of paper with
Yep.
the most important client at the top and the least important client at the bottom, because this isn't communism, there are more important clients than others.
Yep.
You will miss one. I guarantee it, and that's yours. Your business goes at the top of that list.
Yeah.
So you have to work as hard on that business as you do anything else. How do you do that? You have to craft time. And then I get Nigel's book out and I say, I don't recommend very many books other than my own. Sorry, plug. Um,
You can talk about that in a minute.
um, I recommend Nigel say, read this book. It will take you no more than a couple of hours to read it. It'll change the way you approach your business. You have to find the right amount of time at the right point, and you never compromise on doing that.
Yeah.
And I have a poster above. You can't see it because it's a big A3 poster, and it just says, "What are you doing today to get and keep customers?" Because
Perfect.
I have to remind myself, and I
Yeah.
can't miss it. It's literally in my line of sight.
I
Because if you
think
don't do it, your pipeline doesn't grow, and then you get this. Oh bloody hell!
yeah,
What are we
it is.
doing?
And it is. And it's so many people still do it. And like, I mean, I'm lucky now. I can work my entire morning on my business and then work in the afternoon. That's a choice. But, when I owned the accountancy, like I couldn't. I had to physically shut the door and tell people they were not allowed to talk to me.
Mm,
And it was a new thing for them. It was a new thing for me. But honestly, the growth between that 2010 and 2014 was phenomenal. And I thank my 90 minutes for that.
yes, I think Nigel's book to the point where um, I have a sign that goes out because this is my office. I have a lovely little place. There is a sign that goes on my door, a bit like Nigel had a sign that went on his, but my
Yeah.
sign says "Piss off, I'm busy." And there's only one more person in the house. The dogs don't eat, but she bought
Dogs
it for me.
ignore it.
She bought it for me. It goes like if that sign's on the door,
He doesn't come
just
in.
leave me unless the building's burning down. Leave me alone because I'm busy and I'm
Yeah,
doing something that's important.
that's really
And
sensible.
if you get that now, yes, 90 minutes is great. If you can't do 90 minutes, do 60.
Yes,
But do something in your
do
diary,
something.
have that time blocked out, and don't bloody change it.
Your business is successful, so why do you feel so miserable? Here's the thing, success doesn't always automatically equal freedom. I see profitable business owners every day who can't take a holiday, who can't switch off, and they feel completely overwhelmed by their own achievements. Sound familiar? Well, I've created a simple quiz that pinpoints exactly why you feel stuck in your business. It will give you the clarity you need to move from being trapped to being free. Why don't you take the quiz now? The link's in the description below.
I know. And I know some people are night owls, and but for me, and I do say there is a caveat because some people do work better in the evenings, I get that. But willpower is it's not a muscle, it's more like a tank of fuel. And what happens is when we go to sleep, we replenish our bodies. So in the morning, we do have more willpower, which is why people who go to the gym in the morning tend to be more successful than people who go to gym in the evening. Especially like if you're a business owner, you're making decisions every single minute of the day. By the time you get to tea time, a decision of do I go to the gym or do I go home and sit on the couch is, it's a harder decision than what it was first thing in the morning. So I tell people that as well, just because people think that willpower is like a muscle, and the more you use it, the easier it gets, but it isn't. We replenish it every single day. So get the important stuff done first thing in the morning.
I think that's a bit for me is that if you do the important stuff first, and the important stuff for me is this bit, you working on your business, whatever that might be, when you've done that, don't matter what happens in the rest of the day.
No.
It can be complete and utter chaos. So you can all go to I was going to use the word rat shit, but I won't. You can all go to rat shit. It doesn't matter because the important bit has been done. If that chaos is happening during the day, the last thing you're going to do at the end of the day is then do good work on your business.
Yeah.
You just aren't. So yeah, there's them. So again, but it's basic. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
But if you want your business to grow, you have to work at it as hard as you work on doing your whatever your business is for your largest, most important client. If you
Yes.
can't work at that level, why is your business going to grow? So
how do you help your businesses, like your clients, when they get to a point where they're at a ceiling? So they're kind of doing everything themselves, but actually, they shouldn't be doing everything themselves. Like, how do you help them to transition into outsourcing, usually, probably, if it's a solopreneur?
So I have a couple of techniques.
Okay.
Give away my trade secrets. No, but in general, the first one is we have to go back to numbers. I will have helped them build a financial plan. And
Right.
that final plan will have number of clients, average lifetime value, therefore how many clients you need to hit the revenue and the cost. So we've got now I don't fixate on the forecast.
No.
The way I operate it is we build it, we don't look at it for 3 months, we then review the 3 months and what can we learn? Is the next 3 months the same, or do we need to change the forecast up or down?
Yeah.
And this stretches over 12 months or more. And there's usually an inflection point in that to go, actually, you can only deal with this number of customers. Because if you're a solo entrepreneur, you've only got so much time in the day. We know how long it takes you to deliver your service. Therefore, and that ceiling isn't when you're at 100%, because you can't work at 100%.
You can't.
So the ceiling for me is always at about 75%.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an inflection point there. You have a choice. We either say, well, we don't want more customers. We need to increase the price for the customers that we've got so that your growth continues, but you don't burn yourself out. Yeah. Or as we come to that inflection point, we have to provide support around you to take away the jobs that you now shouldn't be doing, of which there will be lots.
Yeah.
So it's at that point, and then ahead, as we're building up to that point, we'll start to think about a VA, a bookkeeper, someone doing your social media marketing, and we'll just list all the things that are potential. And then I'll get them to start thinking about, you're too close to the inflection point now. So you're right, you're going to start working harder, and that is okay short term, but at some point you're going to burn yourself out with it. So we have to do something. You either have to say, well, my business at this point now is the right size. Thanks very much. I don't want any more. And that's fine. I'm at that point, Tracy.
Okay.
I don't need more customers now. I've got the number of customers I need to generate the income I need from that part of what I do to hit. That's fine. So I don't need to suddenly find. But I'm an old git, you know, and but if you want your business to become more than just you, if you want your business to become valuable, it
Yes,
has to operate without you.
it does.
So we
100%.
then start to build support around you. Usually, as you say, outsourcing to start with before you employ people, but then ultimately you start to bring other people into your business that can do it better than you can.
Yeah. Which is what my book's about, by the way, just to say
Hmm.
that. But like, so on that
Oh,
note, please tell
are
us.
we both authors? Where's my book? Let me go.
Both are, yeah. Tell us what is the book about?
So I hate business books.
Okay.
So I'd never intended to write anything. Um, but I usually at the end of each conversation I have with people, I'm writing some notes, or actually Fathom now writes them for me.
Yes. That's
And
a
not
very sensible
surprisingly,
outsourcing, by the way.
absolutely. Why the hell would you? I mean, I still got a pad and pen in front of me, but
Yeah. But you
anyway.
can be more present,
Um,
can't you, with your
so
clients when you're a note takers somewhere else.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's fabulous. But when I started to review notes, not surprisingly, there are patterns that emerge. Lots of people have the same problems. They just use different language to describe what they are.
Okay.
Um, so I was kind of building up this view of there are some core things that people just need to be good at, a bit like Nigel did with his, but I've gone off on a slightly different tangent on some of them. And at the same time, I was I was crafting the answer to the question that every solo entrepreneur hates, and that is, so what is it you do? Because nobody likes that question.
No.
Uh, and then if when you've got the answer to that one, and then they go, so how do you do it? So, and I was right, and all of a sudden, I just had this moment. I thought, you know what? There's maybe a book in this, and I immediately went, oh God, no books, business books. Then I remembered. There is a leadership program called the I can't remember the exact phrase of it now, but it's basically the 5 habits of really effective leaders,
Okay.
and it's by a chap called Patrick Lencioni,
Okay.
and I've been through that program, and the start of that program is you read this book. I mean, a business book, but it's not. It's a fictitious book. It's a
Right.
story about a group of people in Silicon Valley building a business, but
Okay.
it uses characters, and in the conversation, in the narrative of that, it introduces the issues around the habits of highly effective teams. And I
Right.
thought I really enjoyed reading that book. I wonder whether I could do something similar.
Ah, that's where the idea came from.
So my book is a fictitious story about a guy who was a chief exec. It's not me, but there are elements of my journey in it. Who
Yeah.
decided that he'd had enough of that. He wanted to go on his own. He decided to go on his own. Of course, it'd be really easy because I've got all these connections, all these contacts. And then he goes into the real world and finds out actually it's bloody hard. He then goes off on a little journey and he meets this person called Frankie Grit,
Yeah.
amazing enough, who retrains him on how to become a professional business person. And then he goes back and he starts to implement that into his business, and he sees his business improve. So all the things I think people need to be really good at
Yes.
are in themes in this book.
Awesome.
And it's a really easy read. It takes a couple of hours if you read at a reasonable pace. But I think it's one of those books that you're going to start writing on and marking to go. I need to go back. What did Frankie say with this one?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just to help people realize that actually you don't have to, you don't need flashy new objects. You don't need all the sexy stuff that's out there. If you understand what the basics are and you do them consistently and you do them well, your business will be successful.
I've already heard it's helped so many like solopreneurs that are in our circle as well. So I do know it can help so many more. So I'm going to put in the description of like where they can get the book
Yeah.
and stuff for you later.
I'm sorry, it's on Amazon. As much as I hate Jeff Bezos, it is on Amazon because it's the place that everyone goes to look.
It's easier, is well,
Um,
they can get it the next day. When you try and do it yourself, it's like the barrier the friction for a client is, oh, I can't get it till next week. Like my excitement's gone by then. So, but
Exactly. And I'm going to put one more plug in it. I know this is not plugging my book, but if you buy the book, if you then join the Get Shit Done Club,
yep,
and you can now join the Get Shit Done Club for nothing. You can
yes,
come in at the base level. There is a 2.5 hour video series that expands all the stuff that's in the book to add
okay,
what you do next with it. So,
all right, we'll put the link in as well.
so there
So,
we go. So,
yes.
yeah. So, but an unexpected author. I still find it quite difficult to say to actually, yes, you've authored a book. It's like,
You'd be proud. Stand up. I love that. I am a best-selling author. I've got 2 books. I'm very proud of that. So you need to shout it from the rooftops. So if there's a person out there who is in corporate life and they really would like to go into, I would know no idea why they would want to, but if they want to come into the world of small businesses, because and we've said it is hard, but it's also very fulfilling at the same time. It's brilliant. I
yeah,
do get satisfaction, by the way, from my business, so I'm lucky in that respect. Like, what's one piece of advice you can give them? Where do they start?
right back at the beginning again. Be clear about where it is you want to end up.
Okay.
And I know I sound like a broken record,
No.
it's the fundamental. Don't just jump and expect everything to sort itself out. Be clear about what you want it to do, because what it's unlikely to do as you start off is give you loads of freedom and time. It's likely to do exactly the bloody opposite.
It is.
It will
Always.
eat your life if you let it.
Yeah.
So be clear about where you're going. Be clear about your boundaries. I hate the phrase work-life balance.
Me too.
Work is
Priorities.
just part of life,
It is. It's back
but there are
priorities.
boundaries. Exactly. There are your business is important, but you're only doing business so you can live this wonderful life that's over here. So make sure you commit enough time to that one, or that wonderful life will bugger off.
Yeah.
So just real clarity, and this is not a plug for me, get help. If you learn to drive a car, which most people have done,
Yeah.
you don't just get the keys, sit in it, and go, "Oh, fucking work all this." Excuse my language. I'll just work this out
Yeah.
as I go along. What does this lever do, and that button, and this thing? Because what you do is you bloody crash. So what you
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
is you get someone sat next to you to go, "Let me show you how this works. Let me learn the skills," and then have someone to help you implement the skills. That's my advice. Now, it doesn't have to be a paid business coach. It needs to be someone who's run their own business.
Yeah.
Can't
It
be
does.
Jim down the pub who's worked for ICI all his life, who's full of great ideas, because they don't know. They're not stupid. They just don't know. So
Yeah.
get someone who can sit next to you and go, "Let me help you." And
Perfect.
you end up. I wouldn't say you don't crash. You have little dings. You have little dents but you
Yeah.
don't have that big
Car's not
smash
going to be a
wall.
write-off, is it?
Exactly. So
Might have a few scratches, but it's not going to be a write-off.
and if you think about it, in just about every other part of people's lives, if they want to learn something, they go and get help. But all
Yeah.
of a sudden, when it's about setting your own business up, "Oh, I'm not asking any help. No, no, that's a sign of weakness." Is
Yeah.
it?
True. Really
I'm not
true.
sure it is. So
Well,
that would be my
as
advice.
as we've gone full circle, I think that is perfect. That we've just gone right back to the start. So don't worry about repeating. I think it's a really, really important thing to think about if you're ready to jump into the life of small businesses. So, but thank you so much for joining me. I have really enjoyed this. I knew I would anyway. Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And I think it will help. It's going to help lots of small business owners actually realize they're not on their own. I think that's going to be
Yeah, you're not. And the other thing I finish on is that most other small business owners will help, because they've all been there. They've all been where you are. Create that little support network around you, and they'll help you through those times that get really tough, because we all go through those tough times.
We do. We do.
So,
Thank you,
bless you. Thank you
Steve.
for the invite, Tracy. It's been a wonderful conversation.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming on.
No problem at all. Bye bye.
Thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate it, and it shows that you are serious about moving your business forward. I want to share something with you. When I was little, I watched my mum skip meals so my brother and I could eat, because she didn't have enough money to feed us all. That pain changed everything. I promised myself I would never need to rely on anyone else financially. I worked relentlessly towards financial independence. Even as a young parent of 19, I still worked. And once I achieved financial independence, I became passionate that everyone deserves the same. But here's what I've discovered. Successful business owners can feel financially trapped just in a different way. And that's why I created the Money Metrics Academy to help you understand your essential business numbers in under an hour a week. No jargon, no overwhelm, just the clarity you need for true financial independence. Why not join the free entry-level membership and see how the community can help you? Let's get unstuck together.